everyone, welcome back to Sage Health TV. I'm Dr. Julianne Morella, naturopathic physician and licensed acupuncturist here at Sage Integrative Medicine Clinic. In today's episode, I'm going to be talking about metabolism and how to optimize your metabolism. When I work with patients on metabolism, I try to instill lifelong, long-term lifestyle habits. And I think a lot of the times when we think about metabolism, we think, rapid weight loss. How do I improve my metabolism so I can lose weight? But really, I really want to empower my patients to take charge of their health and think of improving their metabolism as how do I improve my cardiovascular health? How do I prevent high cholesterol? How do I prevent diabetes? And how do I get strong and fit and active to keep up with those young kids, right? So, a few things that I look at for metabolism, and I'm going to talk about it today. These are just a few things, but of course it's going to be subjective to what your symptoms are, what your family, and what your medical history is, okay? So first things first is thyroid. So your thyroid is in charge of your metabolism, and how that works is, so your brain releases thyroid stimulating hormone, so TSH, and then your thyroid will then make free T3 and free T4. So this is your active form of thyroid hormone, and this is your inactive thyroid hormone. So the levels of these will determine how fast or slow your metabolism is. So if this is really low, so if your thyroid hormones are really low, we call that hypothyroidism, and patients might suffer from weight gain or difficulty losing weight. If this is too high, then this is what we call hyperthyroidism. And so our metabolism is really sped up. We might feel a little bit of anxiety or a little bit of panic. It might have some GI issues. And I have a really great episode on thyroid health that goes on about the specifics on the factors that affect our thyroid health. So go ahead and check that out. And then the next thing that I look at is sex hormones. So what your estrogen, what your testosterone, what are your cortisol levels doing, right? So where we carry our weight tells us a lot about what our hormone balance is. So for instance, for females, if you're carrying a lot of weight around your breasts, your thighs, your hips, this could be a sign of estrogen dominance. So estrogen dominance can be because you have too much estrogen, maybe you're not metabolizing it well, maybe you're taking oral birth control, or it's that you don't have enough progesterone in relation to estrogen. And so you want that healthy balance. Other symptoms that are related to estrogen dominance might be PMS-like symptoms, so irritability, moodiness, anger or menstrual cramps around your period. The next thing that I look at is cortisol. So if we carry a lot of weight around our waist, this could be a sign of elevated cortisol. So cortisol is our stress hormone, and I want to remind everyone that stress is not just emotional stress. It can be from physical stress. So I want to harp on that because a lot of people are like, oh, I really want to improve my metabolism. I want to lose weight. I'm going to work out a ton. Well, when we work out, when we exercise, it increases our cortisol, which in turn sometimes is not a bad thing. But if you do a lot of it, it can increase your cortisol and impair your glucose metabolism and make it really hard for you to actually lose weight. So you got to listen to your body. Try not to work out too much. Don't try to push yourself too hard. And so when your cortisol is elevated, it also could be a sign of adrenal dysfunction. And this could be because of stress, from working out too much, or even emotional stress, okay? And then the next thing is looking at testosterone levels, right? So if our testosterone is really low, this can cause low libido, but also we have to remember that testosterone is an anabolic hormone. So it's really, it's in charge of healthy joints, muscle gain, all that. So if it's low, then it might be really difficult for you to gain muscle mass. You might be low, you might have low energy, so you're not able to really motivate yourself to work out. And it might be that you're also gaining fat as well. Okay. And the next thing that I look at is what is your metabolic state? So depending on your age, Diabetes and cholesterol should at least be screened annually, so once a year. Conventionally, what is looked at is hemoglobin A1C. So this is a marker of your glucose metabolism over the last 3 months, and then fasting glucose. So what is your glucose metabolism after 10 to 12 hours of fasting? Another thing that's looked at is lipids, right? So what your total cholesterol is, what your LDL, your bad cholesterol, and what your HDL is, and that is your good cholesterol. I like to take it a step further, and I actually like to look at insulin and leptin. And the reason for this is because I find that these two markers are a little more sensitive in detecting insulin resistance or risk for diabetes a lot sooner than hemoglobin A1C and glucose. And the reason for that is because, so insulin is made by our pancreas and it's secreted by our body so that we can use glucose as an energy source. So it allows our cells to use sugar to break down and use it as an energy source. When we eat a lot of high carbohydrates, we don't work out, we don't sleep enough, and we just live a really unhealthy lifestyle, our body can become insulin resistant. So what does that mean? That means that our cells in our body are not responding to insulin anymore and are not metabolizing glucose as it should be. And so what that means is now glucose is super high, and this is what we see in diabetes and other metabolic syndromes like diabetes, high cholesterol, etc. And then the next thing that I look at is leptin. So leptin is our satiety hormone. This is what makes us feel full. So this can increase because of an insufficiency amount of sleep or an insufficient amount of sleep, a high triglycerides, so that's the cholesterol that increases when you eat way too much sugar, diabetes, high cholesterol, as well as overeating and stress. That can cause an increased amount of leptin. And so our body can also become leptin resistant. And so what that means is that your body or your brain does not register that after you ate this large meal that you're not full. So you keep eating and eating and eating when your body is actually really full and it's eaten enough. And so what this causes is weight gain or unwanted weight gain, and can also increase your risk, for cardiovascular diseases and diabetes. Okay, so let's talk about the general tips for optimizing your metabolism. Okay, so what I like to talk about is exercise. So general recommendation, most doctors will say, or if you look at the general guidelines, they will say you should do 30 minutes of moderate intensity 5 times a week. The problem is what is exercise? What is movement? I like to be a little more specific. I want to see my patients strength train 3 to 4 times a week. What does strength training mean? That means picking up a kettlebell. That means lifting or doing Olympic lifts or dumbbells, or even just body weight exercises like yoga, Pilates, etc. And then I also like to see high intensity interval training done 1 to 2 times a week. And what does this mean? That means you're doing something on, off, on, off. So 1 minute running, break for 30 seconds, on again, 1 minute running, break for 30 seconds or a minute, or however long you need in between those intervals to just, take a break before doing the next one for maybe at least like 15, 20 minutes, okay? And the reason I like to promote this is because strength training is going to help strengthen your muscles. So it helps increasing muscle mass, lean muscle mass, and it also helps with fat loss, same as high interval intensity training, as well as helping you with glucose metabolism. There's really great apps that actually help with navigating this. The ones that I really like, and the one that I actually use religiously, is the Nike training app. There's also the Nike Run app. There's also iFit. And then there's those, fancy Peloton and SoulCycle and all that stuff. Okay, in terms of diet, what I really like is the paleo whole foods diet. And the reason why I like this is because I think in our culture, we can get really obsessed with how much we're eating in terms of weight loss and improving our metabolism. But I really want to hone in or promote quality of foods, right? So with paleo diet, we're eating whole foods, we're avoiding processed foods, and we're eating or avoiding common food intolerances. So that could be dairy, gluten, soy, peanuts. And so that is what I like to promote. And then for a good metabolic reset, you can also try the Whole30, which is something that we do in this office at least once a year, which is sucks in the beginning, but really fun after, when you're doing it with a group. The other thing that I like to talk about is sleep. So sleeping 8 to 9 hours a night. And I have another episode on sleep, so please check that out. But the reason why this is important is because when we don't get enough sleep, this can increase our risk for high blood pressure. It impairs our glucose metabolism. It reduces leptin. So here we are increasing our risk for insulin resistance, so diabetes, and decreasing our leptin. So it's increasing the chance that we are going to eat a lot. And then there's a ton of supplements that we can go in on. And Dr. Yeagley talked about it in another episode about specifically what the supplements are in terms of optimizing your metabolism. Some of them can be carnitine. So carnitine helps with fat metabolism. So switching your body to more fat metabolism as opposed to glucose metabolism. ALA, so alpha lipoic acid, will help with reducing or helping with preventing insulin resistance or help with glucose metabolism, as well as chromium. And then there's adaptogenic herbs like ginseng that really help athletes in their training. So this is all I have for you. If you found that helpful, please share with your loved ones and family and friends. Please check out our other episodes and like and subscribe to our channel. This is Sage Health TV. I'm Dr. Julianne Morella, and I will see you next time. Bye.